Okay, we good?
Mhm.
All right, good morning, everybody. I know it's early, so I bought you sugar. I bought you donuts. Some of you all may know me or have seen me around here. My name is Cora Majeed. I'm a mentor here at Cora Cox. I usually come in like once a week and work one-on-one with my mentee. And then Elizabeth calls me 24/7 for other things that pertain to you guys. So if there's ever a situation going on where she needs help or assistance from the community, I'm one of her many go-to people. So this morning I want to introduce to you my husband, best friend, Azeem Majeed. He has come all the way from Norfolk, Virginia, and he wants to speak to you guys this morning and share his story. Coming up in the streets in the city of Norfolk, which is a whole lot different from Kingsport, and just talk to you all about his childhood and about his incarceration, and take some questions. If you guys have any questions after he gets finished speaking, feel free to raise your hand and we'll take some questions. And then after that, if you guys want to chat one-on-one and ask any questions, feel free, okay? All right, take it away.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
As she said, my name is Azeem Majeed. I like to be as transparent as possible whenever I'm speaking, to individuals. First, I want to say that you all are a beautiful group of young people, so you should be proud of yourselves. When I look at you all, I see myself. I see myself because I come from a similar background like you all. And I'm very conscious about the words that I'm choosing when I say that you all are good children. And I'm gonna speak more on this as I go forward, as I articulate my particular story to you all. You all are good children. See, because what you say to yourself about yourself, it really matters. And what you allow other individuals to say to you, what you accept, it really matters. So I wanna say this, I wanna encourage you all to never accept anything that you deem yourself unworthy of receiving. And here's what I mean. I told you, and my wife just told you all that I was incarcerated. At the age of 17, I got caught up in the streets of Norfolk, Virginia. I was tried and convicted of capital murder, robbery, malicious wounding, assault and battery. I was the same age as many of you all now. The same age. And I ended up being sentenced to 2 consecutive life without parole sentences plus 29 years. But before I was sentenced to those 2 consecutive life without parole sentences plus 29 years, the state tried to sentence me to death. I was 17 years old, a juvenile offender. But let me back up for a minute. I started out just like you all. I was in an alternative school. I went to an alternative school called CEL, Center for Effective Learning. Now remember, I'm telling you that I wasn't a bad child, I just made bad decisions. So when I say we have to be careful what we call ourselves and what we allow other individuals to call us, this is very important. See, because I was told as a child, when I made bad decisions, that I was a bad child. I was told that I was a bad child. And as a consequence of that, I started making even more bad decisions. Right? So here's what I'm saying. You all are not bad children. Please understand that. You just make bad decisions. And our decision to make it goes back to the way that we perceive the world, the way that we perceive situations and circumstances. I recently spoke and I was telling people that sometimes when we try to change and evolve into better versions of ourselves, the people around us sometimes, and I'm speaking about myself, I went through this, they would tell us, yo, you fake, man. You ain't real. You fake. You changing up. You want to go, at one particular time I was charged with first degree murder, and the charges was non-pros, and I was released back to my parents. And I was put in school, I went to night school trying to get my GED. And people told me during that particular time, the guys that I was around in the street, man, it ain't no money in that. You got to get it from the rough. You changing. See, you're changing up. You're being fake. And as a consequence of that, when we listen to that, we start living down to those titles that they placed upon us. And what I mean, we want to be known as, movers and shakers. We want to be known as murderers and killers. This was a label that was placed upon me at one particular time. A thug. I'm telling you that there is no future, bright future, in being a thug and being a gangster. There is no bright future in that. I'm telling you. I'm not coming in here to tell you what I think. I'm coming in here to tell you what I know. I ended up spending 26 consecutive years in an adult prison. 26, from the age of 17, I'm 44 years old now. But fortunately, I fought and I had many great individuals that came who believed in me and fought along with me, and I was able to have my life without parole sentences vacated by a federal court. But listen, I'm telling you, that does not happen every day. At the age of 17, I was sentenced to mandatory life without parole. What they were saying was, as a child, there was no future for me. There was no hope in me. But I'm telling you, when you find individuals like Miss Elizabeth and Coach and my wife here at Majeed that care about you, cling to them. Cling to them and listen to them. I'm telling you, because it's going to save your life. Wise people. And I'm looking at you, you're looking like you're wise youth. They learn from other people's mistakes because they can't live long enough to make them more themselves. Don't go through what I went through. I'm telling you, in prison, I've seen individuals who, with the ages, and many of you all, lose their minds. This was the most difficult and traumatic experience that I ever experienced in my life. Going into an adult prison as a boy and expected to behave like a man. When you go in there as a child, they prey on you. I seen young men get raped. I seen young men get stabbed. I seen young men get killed. And I seen young men who was just incapable of enduring that difficult experience in prison hang themselves. I seen many turn to drugs and become addicts inside of prison. And the reality is that the children, the youth, more often than not, they end up with more time than the adult offenders. And this is a problem. So you have to make a change now. And when I say make a change, I'm not saying like stop being the beautiful and bright young children that you are. What I'm saying is don't limit yourself. And don't allow anything outside of you to define who you are if you believe that you are unworthy of receiving that particular title. And here's what I mean. If you want to be a great daughter, and if you feel that you're not a great daughter, start calling yourself that so that you can start living up to that particular title. If you are a great son, and you feel that its work needs to be done, that's not a bad thing, that is a good thing. Think about the changes that needs to be made and make those changes. I want each and every one of you today to think about the type of person that you want to be 10 years from now. Think about the best version of yourself. And live every single moment as if you are that particular person. Before you're about to do a particular thing, a deed, ask yourself, what would that great individual whom I aspire to be in the future, how would that person do the deed that I'm about to do today? And do it. Apply this to every single thing that you do. When you get upset, this was my biggest problem as a child, as a youth. I used to get angry. And I still get angry. I'm not telling you all to eradicate anger. It's impossible. Anger is not like necessarily unhealthy. It's what we do when we get angry. So because if you feel like someone is like wronging you, you shouldn't feel good about that. That's a stoic individual if you don't feel anything. A person who don't feel anything. You don't want to be like that. If you get that angry, that's a warning sign to you, letting you know that something is wrong. But you have to learn how to control it. Control your anger. Don't let it control you. A wise man once said, powerful is not he or she who knocks the other down in the fit of anger, but powerful is the one who controls himself in the pit of anger. This is strength. It's all about self-control. Never make a permanent decision that's based upon a temporary emotional circumstance. That's what I did. And I was fortunate enough to remove the consequence. What I mean, because you get upset, that don't give you the right to harm someone else. That's what I did. I lost control. If you get upset with someone, tell them, think about how to express it. And it's going to take practice. But if I can do it, you all can do it. See, because if you don't, I'm telling you, you're either going to be in a grave or you're going to be up in prison. And they're charging juveniles as an adult. And it's not worth it in the end. You deserve better. You all deserve more. You deserve more than prison. Prison don't deserve you. You deserve society. Society deserves you. Because I said you all are great children. You have so much potential. Every single day I want you all to wake up and look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you are your biggest challenge. And put forth the effort every single day to become a better version of yourself. Think about the things that you need to change about yourself. I'm still working. I was just released on parole on September the 10th. I haven't even been out of prison 3 months. I went to sleep one day, doomed to die in prison. And I was fortunate enough to regain my freedom again. But I'm going to tell you something. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Have you ever heard the adage that goes, and it said that it was coined by Einstein? They say that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. If you keep getting in trouble, right, don't blame nobody else. Just think about what you're doing and how you respond. Stop reacting and start responding. And what I mean by that is always choose a choice that got the least consequence that attached to it. And you can't do that if you just react. If someone says something to you that you don't like, they may be wrong. And I ain't saying that you shouldn't get upset. If you call me a name right now, I'm going to get upset. But I'm telling you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to put out a gun and start shooting you. I don't have a right to do that. And even though I might get a temporary satisfaction as a consequence of that, I'm going to be right back up in prison again for the rest of my life. So it's not worth it. I deserve better. I deserve more. I'm not going to allow anyone or anything outside of me to control me and determine my future for me. I know what I deserve, and I don't deserve prison. And I'm here talking to you all today because I care. I told myself that if I ever get another opportunity to be out in society again, that I'm going to spend the rest of my life trying to tell my story to the youth and to impact positive change, to affect positive change, and try to save at least one life. Remember what I said earlier. Because wise people learn from other people's mistakes because they can't live long enough to make them all themselves. I don't want you all to go through what I went through to get here. There's an easier way. Imagine spending 26 consecutive years incarcerated, not knowing if you're ever going to get out of prison. How many of you, your mothers are still in your lives? Right? How about fathers are still in your lives? Sisters are still in your lives. Brothers, aunts, uncles. You see? We all got somebody that care about us. Right? And imagine having a life without parole sentence. Imagine what that's going to do to the people that's in your life that love you and care about you. Imagine how that would make Miss Elizabeth feel. Imagine how that will make Cora Majeed feel. Imagine how that will make Coach feel. They do not do this because it's a job. They do this because they care. Trust me, I can see it. And when you have people in your life that care about you, you are obligated to them. And what do I mean by that? You got to reciprocate it. Give it back. For instance, if I walk up, if you drop your phone right now and I pick the phone up and gave it to you, what would you say to me?
Right.
Thank you. Exactly. That's just the right thing to do, the just thing to do. So when people come into your life and they care about you and they try to give you things that's going to help you when they don't have to, express their gratitude. Tell them thank you. And sometimes it's not even all about what you say, it's about what you do. Just try to apply the wisdom that they impart upon you. And sometimes it's not about what you do, it's what you don't do. Try to stay away from the actions that's going to lead you to prison. And I'm going to tell you something else. Loyalty has an expiration date. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. Loyalty has an expiration date. I'm going to tell you, I know what I deserve. So if I'm loving you and giving you my all and you're not giving that back to me, eventually I'm going to stop loving you the way that I'm loving you. So the people that you're surrounded around in the streets, and I'm telling you, I come from the streets. If you're people who really love and care about you, they're going to advise you to do things that's not going to harm yourself. If they really care about you. If you're my man and I care about you, I'm not going to send you on a mission knowing that if you get caught, you're going to lose your life, you're going to get killed, you're going to be in a grave, and your family going to hurt as a consequence, or you're going to be sitting up in prison with a life without parole sentence. And I'm not even going to be there for you. I'm telling you, they're going to abandon you. See, they understand this. There's an expiration date to it. As long as you're not out here holding them down, if you get locked up in prison, the vast majority of them are going to abandon you. Some will get on this stand and even lie on you. I'm telling you. Just to save themselves. Take it from me. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I know. And it's not worth it. Now you sitting in prison with a life sentence and the person, your right-hand man and your right-hand girl, they sitting on the street, laid up, and they done lie, and you probably not even the one that committed the crime. And they use you as a scapegoat. And it's not worth it. Don't you deserve better than that? So be careful about the people that you attach yourself to. See, because when you attach yourself to them and you give your loyalty to them, you accept whatever come along with that. And even if it's a life sentence for a crime that you didn't commit. And you know who mother, or uncle, or brother, or father, or sister got to deal with that incarceration? Yours, not theirs. So why would you give that to your loved ones? Why would you offer a lifetime of incarceration and them putting money on your books and accepting your phone calls and coming to visit you while the other people, they still out of society, laid up, laid back, feet up in a hammock, enjoying life? Don't give that to your family. The change starts now. It starts today. I'm not telling you to be righteous. I'm not telling you to don't listen to your music or don't hang with your friends. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is be smart. Remember I talked to you earlier about placing these labels on yourselves. When I went into prison, I was called a thug. I was called a murderer. I was called the killer. Trained to go. All of these different type of labels. Right? And see, when people call you that, those are labels actually that you live down to. You can't live up to that. There's nothing honorable about being a murderer. There's nothing cool about that. Who want to go around killing people or stab? That doesn't even make sense. That's insane. Being a true gangster, try to teach somebody something that's going to help them become a better version of themselves, right? So that they can help their community and build their communities up. There's nothing gangster about tearing your community down. That ain't hard. And what comes along with it, it's not worth it. It's nothing gangster about believing that prison is the only thing that you deserve. grave is the only thing that you deserve. Don't think so lowly of yourself. When I'm looking at you all, I see doctors. I see lawyers. I see counselors. I see great children when I look at you all. So as I said, I went in there being called those titles, and I got to a point when I knew that I deserved better and I wanted better. Nothing changes if nothing changes. As long as I still continue to live down to those titles that's placed upon me, I'm going to keep accepting the same thing. More time, arguments, a life of stress, headache, right? You're going to attract that stuff to you as a consequence. So don't call me that no more. I am not a killer. I am not a murderer. I am not a gangster. I am not a thug. I am Azeem Majeed. I am a man. What type of man am I? I'm a great man. I'm an honorable man. I'm an upright man. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I'm a son. A good one. These are the things that I tell myself about me because I know that I'm that. And even if I fall short, I'm going to look myself in the mirror each and every day. And I'm going to think about the things that I can change, take away, and add to myself that's going to help me live up to those particular titles that I placed upon myself. So when I started doing that, my circumstances changed. Do you all think I was granted parole, right? I told you my life sentences were vacated, and then I became eligible for parole, and I went up for parole and made first parole. And I'm out here again doing what I promised. Nothing changes if nothing changes. I changed how I viewed myself. I changed how I viewed life. I changed how I viewed people. And I was certain about what I deserved. And I started doing the deeds. That's what's going to attract to me what I knew that I deserved. So, I just want to tell you all that it's not too late. I started out like you all. I went through some of the same challenges that you all went through. It is not over. So, I have some work that I want you all. Matter of fact, I have a question. Without telling me your last name, I want you to tell me who you are and tell me something about yourself. Who are you?
Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Tell me something about yourself.
I like to play basketball and football.
You like to play basketball and football. That's great. You want to be in the, NFL or NBA one day? You know you can be. How old are you?
13.
13 years old. Wow. Do you believe that you can be an NFL player and an NBA player? You can. Don't let anyone outside of you tell you that you can't be that. A lot of the people that's in the NFL, in the NBA, they went through some of the same challenges that you're going through right now. And look at them now. So, but I'm going to tell you this. You're not going to wake up one day and just be in the NFL or the NBA. You got to do the work. So if you are doing anything that's going to pull you away from attaining that goal, then stop it today. That's not smart. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
And to make sure that every single thing that you do from this day going forward is going to get you closer to that goal that you're trying to accomplish. You're going to be an NFL player, an NBA player. I believe in you. But you got to believe in yourself, okay?
Yes, sir.
What's your name and tell me something about you?
Autumn and
Autumn.
I want to be a counselor.
You want to be a counselor. Okay. You believe that you can be a counselor? Okay. So, I reiterate the same thing that I said to him. Right? I want you to do the same thing today. Any single thing that you are doing that's going to take you away from that particular goal, I want you to stop. Okay? Can I get your word on that?
Yes, sir.
And everything that's going to cause you to get closer to that goal, I want you to start doing it today. Not all at one time. It's going to be baby steps. But you deserve that. You're going to be my counselor one day. Y'all got to take care of us. I'm getting old. I'm 44 years old. You know? So, I believe in you. What's your name and tell me something about yourself?
My name is Corey, and I work on cars as a hobby.
Wow, that is awesome. So let me tell you something. Do you want to You want to get into that business one day, working in automobiles?
Already got it set up.
That is awesome. That's extraordinary. And I'm gonna tell you something. Do you know I'm just starting. You can teach me a thing or two, like now. I'm 44 years old and I just did my first oil change. You see? So I'm still learning. So that's the beauty of life though. You don't want to get to the point where you can't no longer learn. You know, so hopefully I would love to, like, if we can stay in contact with you, I can learn some things from you. You know? So what I want to tell you, like, that's your vision for yourself. It's great. See, this is the thing. Everybody don't have to be the same thing. Right? If everybody in the world was automobile makers or worked on automobiles, then how would the world function? We need counselors. We need lawyers. We need NFL players and NBA players. We need coaches. We need automobile makers and individuals who work on automobiles. You know, can I get, so look, I believe in you, man. I want you to do the same thing that I told these individuals today. Like, and I see something in you. And I'm going to tell you this. When I look in your eyes, I see a certain level of fierceness. I see something in you. And don't lose that. Just make sure you channel that in the right direction. See, I see all the time, like, one label that I didn't lose, they tried to say that I was a super predator at one time. I wasn't a super predator. They put this label on juvenile offenders saying that the streets of America was going to be paved with the blood of juvenile offenders. This was from like 1994, 95, and 96. And that theory was debunked. And this is one of the reasons why I got the particular time that I got, right? So, but no, I'm not a super predator, but I am a predator. And what I mean by that, I prey on success. So when I focus in on something, I got a certain level of fierceness. And I don't stop until I reach that goal. So never lose that. What you got, I'm telling you, it's going to get you far in life. But make sure that every single thing that you do today is an action or a deed that's going to get you closer to solidifying your business in the automobile industry. And if anything that you do is going to pull you away from that, stop. It's not worth it because you deserve more. Can I get your word on that? Let me get one more.
I'm trying. I eventually, well, I don't know what you would call it, but I eventually want to like start this business for like, you know, like inmates or incarcerated people, help them get back on their feet. Cause my uncle, he did time and it took him a while to get on his feet. Yeah,
that's great. That is beautiful. And I'm gonna tell you something. That we need more people like that, and especially, you know, younger individuals that can like help, you know, the, you know, incarcerated individuals have a more successful, you know, re-entry back into society. So you have some experience with the family member who, you know, you've seen the struggles that he was, you know, challenged with, you know, upon his re-entry back into society. So that is a great field to get into, and I believe in you, and I believe that it can start now. You can start now. But if this is what you want to do when it comes to criminal justice reform and helping, you know, lower the recidivism rate in this state or Tennessee or anywhere that you want to take it at, then you can do it, start now. But make sure that every single thing that you do right now is going to be geared towards helping you get closer to that particular goal. And anything that you feel is going to take you away from that, stop it. It's all about decision making. See, because a lot of times you have so many great individuals that's incarcerated right now. They're incarcerated and they had so much potential, but they made bad decisions. They're not necessarily bad people. So y'all have to be careful of the decisions that you make. And I say this again, never make a permanent decision based upon a temporary emotion or circumstance. So I'm going to conclude my talk today right here. But what I want to do, I want to open up the floor for any questions or comments that you all may have, and feel free to ask anything that you want to ask, right? And I'm going to be completely open and honest with you all. So. Yes, sir.
How long will you be on parole?
Well, right now, my out date for parole is scheduled for, I believe it's May 5th of 2022. And then I have probation. So, you know, it's really not even difficult for me it's because, you know, being out here, I'm so like blessed and grateful for this opportunity to be out here in society. And, you know, I have a great, you know, probation officer who's, you know, she actually allowed me to come here, you know, to Tennessee today. You know, she approved it. She see the work that I'm trying to do and trying to support me. And, you know, like the system is not all bad. The system is just broken. And this is what I meant about having individuals in your corner that care about you and care about your growth and care about your success. And you all have that here at Cora Cox Academy. Y'all have that here. So fortunately, I'm surrounded by individuals now that believe in me. So even if my, you know, parole date was off even further, it wouldn't even impact me like that because I don't do anything. I'm living a pro-social life right now. You can't pay me to commit any more crimes. Don't get it twisted, I'm still a man. You understand what I'm saying? But I just do things differently now. I think about the decisions that I make before I make them. Y'all feel me? So, any more questions? Yes, sir.
As an incarcerated person on a mental state level, how bad does it mess with your mind once you get locked up in prison?
That's a great question. Listen, prison scars you. You have to be so careful. Fortunately, I was able to hold on to my sanity. There was moments throughout my incarceration where I felt like, man, I'm gonna just lose it. Sometimes it's easier to do that. It's like when you hold on and you just caring, but like being told when to eat, being told when to sleep. Sometimes you're surrounded by individuals that you don't even want to be around. Sometimes you are in a cell with an individual that you don't want to be in a cell with. And it's constant drama. People yelling all the time. You seeing you can't control everything. I tried my best. I served as the imam in the Virginia Department of Corrections, you know, of the Sunni Muslim community. But also, I was in a leadership position, but also I served as an elder in the College Community Reentry Program for approximately 4 years, you know. So, but being in this environment, sometimes I was able to stop a lot of incidents that I saw, but you can't stop everything. And you gotta know, know how to choose your battles, know when to act and when not to act. But sometimes you see things and you see and don't see. And this stuff scars you. But especially when you go in as a child, right? When I told you they prey on the youth. And when I went in the system back in 1995, you know, so you had to be a certain way. You had to. Sometimes if certain things happen to you, you gotta react even though you don't wanna do it. And notice I chose the word react consciously right there. See, because you can end up in a worse situation by not reacting. You can lose your life. Sometimes people will do things to you just to test you. And if you let it go, then your journey throughout prison is going to be 100 times harder. So this is how it is in prison. So you don't want to be in that situation and circumstance. So when that mentally messes with you, especially sometimes when you're trying to change and you have to do something to protect yourself and end up in worse trouble. So, but mentally, it's like, we have like some programs, and especially in the reentry program, that's where they get the most treatment at in the Virginia Department of Corrections. You have mental health specialists come in and help individuals process what they've been through. You know, but it's mentally taxing. Like me right now, I'm still dealing with some issues post-incarceration. So meaning like, being in prison, you have to be a certain way. Like I never liked people close up on me. That's a no-no in prison. People bumping you and things like that, and being in a space where it's a whole bunch of people. Like right now, I'm still trying to unlearn, re-socialize myself and become de-institutionalized in that particular perspective. Meaning being in public places, being in malls is difficult for me now. But I push through because I know that greatness only comes out of uncomfortable situations and circumstances. See, you can be in a situation, right? And in a comfortable situation, and you can watch your life pass you right by, so many different opportunities. So I know that I cannot grow unless I step out in an uncomfortable situation and circumstances. What I'm talking about now is in the mall, in these public places. My wife tells me all the time, like, you know, just ease up. And, you know, I try to remind her is, you know, when you lived a particular way for 26 years, you know, you don't just step out of prison and it's just over with. It don't work like that. It's a process. but I understand it. And I'm willing to make that change and grow. But it's not something that you want to go through. It's difficult. You know, this is my first time being in another state outside of Virginia. Other than when I was younger, I went to North Carolina. This is a change, but I'm stepping out. See, because I got something to say. And we got lives that needs to be saved. And I'm gonna do that because I care. Did I answer your question? Anybody else?
You talked about how loyalty fades.
Yes, thank you for
How
bringing.
many friends, how many people did you have that had your back when you got incarcerated that actually stuck around for 26 years?
None. I had individuals periodically here and there that will come and, I put money on my books or put, money on my phone, or, visit me here and there. It was sporadically, over the 26 years. But the only individual who was consistently here throughout my incarceration was my mother. The one who was, when I was in the street, telling me to get out of the streets and to watch the individuals who I was around. The one who put food on the table. I was raised by a single mother. I got 13 siblings. 7 of us grew up in the same house. And my mother did her best to give me the best life possible. But she would tell me every single day, watch them guys that you are around. Every single day. Be careful what you're doing out in them streets. Don't drink. Don't be out there committing no crimes. You're going to end up locked up if you keep on. The same woman who tried to save my life and I disobeyed was the one who spent 26 years consecutively, every single day accepting my calls, putting money on my books, visiting me, going through it. Put your loved ones through that. So when I say that loyalty fades, right? Or when I say that loyalty have an expiration date, the moment you see signs of individuals that they really don't love you, you see these signs in them, you got to modify your relationship with them. Because you deserve more. I'm telling you. And listen, I'm looking each and every one of you in the eyes right now. This ain't what I think, this is what I know. I'm telling you that they will get up on that stand and testify against you. Take it from me. This ain't what I think. When you put that life sentence in front of one of them kids who don't got that experience, and it's them or you, trust me, they're going to get up on that stand and testify against you. And it's not worth it. You'd be better off hanging by yourself. It's not worth it in the end. You deserve better. So I said nothing changes. If nothing changes, there's 3 things you have to change in order to get a different result. Change the people, the places, and the things. The people that you attach yourself to, the places that you frequent, and the things that you do. If you do that, you're going to get a better consequence. You're going to be that NFL player. You're going to be that counselor. You're going to have your automobile shop. You're going to have a re-entry program helping individuals who being released from prison. Y'all feel me? Nothing changes if nothing changes. And the change starts today. And it starts with the way that you think too. We have to start thinking for a change. And I really want to say more on this topic. I wish I have another opportunity to talk to you all again, but I don't want to keep you too long. Anybody have any more questions? Well, listen, I'm going to conclude with this. I want to, thank everyone. Thank Cora Cox Academy, for allowing me to come to speak to you all today. I hope that, the message that I have, shared with you all today can benefit you all just a little bit. And hopefully just spark a little thought and to allow you to, put forth the effort to become a better version of yourselves and, only accept the things that you deem yourself worthy of receiving. Look, I love y'all. Y'all are me. I am you all. Change starts today, and it starts from within. So y'all have a great day.
All right, before y'all go, look, I'm gonna hold y'all for just a couple more minutes. So, I live here in Kingsport. And like I mentioned when I briefly introduced myself, I mentor here and I mentor several other places. So I'm boots on the ground in the community all the time. So I play a leadership role in a couple of different areas throughout the city. I'm in leadership Kingsport. I sit on a couple of committees for the chamber. I am a peer recovery specialist for Ballot Health, and I work a reentry program. So exactly what it is that she aspires to do, I do. I have a testimony myself. Our stories are a little bit different. Mine and Azeem's childhood is different, but we went through similar things. So what I need to know from you all is, what do you need from your community? What do you guys need Kingsport to have that it doesn't have, that you think would make an astronomical difference in your life? What are y'all doing after school to really stay on the right track and to stay out of the streets and do the right thing? So is there any ideas that you all can think of off the top of your head that you would really love for this city to have that we don't have that would make a difference?
People that listen.
Okay, but what do you mean by that? No, break it down for me. Break it down.
No, yeah, I'll elaborate on that. Like, around here, I feel like you can talk to people, you can talk to people, you can talk to people. People aren't listening. They're not sitting there, and they're not taking the time to really be like, okay, well, what do you mean by that? Well, okay, what is he asking me when he says that question? They just sit there and it goes in one ear and out the other, and they give a basic response. They don't sit there, they don't take no time for it, they don't understand what you're trying to say, and they don't understand what you're trying to convey, the message that you're trying to convey to them. Like, even on top of that, like, sometimes you'll go around people, I'm not saying it's all people, I'm just saying it's like, it's just a group of people, or some people that you may cross throughout your life, or people that you may find here, or schools, or wherever else you go. It's like you try to sit down, and you try to talk to them, but they're not thinking about what you're telling them. They're thinking about what they can go get to eat later on in about 5 minutes. They're thinking about themselves. They're thinking about stuff that's gonna be better for them, because one thing, I don't know if everybody else has learned this, but for me, one thing that I've learned is at the end of the day, you have you, yourself, and that's it. Because at the end of the day, when you laying down in that bed, who's laying beside you?
That's
At the end of the day, when you go to take your shower, make sure, you know, who's making you food? Who's getting you into the bathtub, making sure that you clean? Who's folding your clothes, doing your laundry? It's not nobody else.
Right.
It's you and yourself.
I understand what you're saying. I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make as adults is we try to develop programs or put together things that we think you all need without your insight. You know, who better than to tell me what to have for the youth and what to do for the youth than the youth. So I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make, and this is just on committees and things that I did throughout the community, is we'll try to develop a youth program, but everybody on the panel is 35 and older. You know, what we need you all to come on board and work with us and be very outspoken about what it is that you need from your community. So recently there was a discussion or a meeting that happened in the city, and I can't remember on what platform it was on, but the chief of police himself said that the rise in the crime in the city is due to youth and juvenile offenders. That adult crime is going down and youth crime is going up here in Kingsport. Kingsport is not Norfolk, Virginia. However, we can turn it into Norfolk, Virginia. We could turn it in and commit big city crimes, but why would we do that? We have a great community here. So what we need you all to do, and anybody that would want to volunteer to do this, I can bring you to the table with the chief of police, with other community leaders. I want them to hear from you what it is that you need from your community. So if any of you all would be down to participate in something like that, I would love to develop a different type of after-school program, not Boys and Girls Club, not the YMCA, because some of us ain't cut out for that. I wasn't cut out for that coming up. I didn't want to go to no Boys and Girls Club after school. I didn't want to go to no YMCA. It just wasn't who I was. I love rap music, R&B music. I love drawing. I just had my own different personality. I love cosmetology. I love doing hair and nails. I didn't want to be at the Boys and Girls Club doing stuff like that. I wanted to be home in my hood, in my neighborhood, doing what it is that I do. But I want to create an environment for you all to be able to go after school and be able to express yourself and be able to sharpen your skills and be able to have that person to talk to, be able to have that meal if you want to eat it. But there's no way that we can put together a program like that without your all's help. We need you all. And I think we fail as adults to remind you all very often how much we need you. We need your insight. I mean, like he said, we're getting older. And when we get older and we sit down, who's gonna take lead? You all have to take lead. So I'm doing such a disservice to myself and to the community if I don't show you how to take lead, if I don't show you how to be a leader, if I don't invite you to sit on a committee with me, if I don't ask you for your insight. So keep those things in mind, and one day in the near future, I'm gonna come back and share a bit of my testimony with you guys. I was also formerly incarcerated. I also had a drug addiction. I was addicted to the very drug that I was selling, Oxycontin, which in turn landed me in federal prison at 5.5 months pregnant with my first child. So and I think that's another thing that we forget. Like, we see that it happens to women, but not as often as men. But it can happen to women, and it doesn't matter if you're pregnant. They don't care about any of that. And like he says, loyalty expires. Everybody on my case, I had 26 co-defendants on my indictment. Every one of us grew up from diapers on up. Not only did we grow up together, our parents grew up together. It was a generational thing. We had known each other our entire life. And everybody that could flip, flipped the first chance they got and told on each other. And this happened in 2011. Some of them are still sitting in prison to this day. And they weren't even the main person that the feds were looking for, but they're still sitting in prison because whatever their homeboy told was more important than what he was doing. So because of that, they ended up with a 17, 18, 19-year sentence for selling dope, trying to be cool. I thought I was doing something. So again, I'll cut it at that because I don't want to share too much. I'll come back and share my testimony with you guys, but we truly appreciate you all. I'm here in Kingsport. He'll be back as often as he can. If you all ever need anything from me, Elizabeth knows how to get in contact with me. I would love to take you with me one day to work and let you just follow me for the day. I could even let you, like, in on the emails with the inmates. I can show you firsthand what it's like to run a reentry program. I think that would be really awesome for you. Yes.
I ain't gonna say much of this stuff.
No, you're good. What's up?
Like Corey, he was saying with the quote, insanity is trying the same thing over and over, knowing that you're gonna have a different result. With Corey saying, you know, if you trust the same person over again, and then it's gonna screw you over, and at the end of the day, you got you yourself, and you know, that's it. You know, same thing as saying, you know, even your shadow leaves you in the darkness. That's it.
That's it. You're right. Y'all are very intelligent. That's what I love about y'all. Y'all are very intelligent. So again, we appreciate you all. We're gonna wrap it up, but if you need us, we're a phone call away, okay? And we still have more donuts in the back if y'all want.
Grab a donut.
Oh yeah, real quick, can we get a group picture with y'all before y'all go? Can we do that? Come on. Okay. Come on now.
Don't expect.
Is it stopping? Just stop it, hit the button. We can always set the clip and trim it. Hit the red button.